Mwahaha! Welcome back to the Brazilian Dragon podcast for Scooby Snacks and Chats on the Brazilian Dragontober special series. Welcome to Scooby-Doo's Days. We are talking about Scooby-Doo Adventures, the mystery map today. And I am not a Harry Potter puppet pal. I am Felipe, the Brazilian Dragon, and I am joined by one of my favorite people to talk Scooby-Doo with, the great Lindsay, making her triumphant return to the Brazilian Dragon podcast. And Scooby is with her as well. How are you doing, Lindsay?
In the spirit of this time of year, I can say after watching what you just made me watch, I am terrified.
Should we tell people when we're actually recording this? This is like it's still summertime. It's August 27th.
But it still works because I will for the next 2-3 months will still be terrified after watching whatever the hell.
How mad are you at me for making you watch this trash?
No, I was thinking about it and so there's the best thing you've ever watched and there's the worst thing you've ever watched. And what I don't want to watch is something in the middle. This is far and away the worst movie I've ever watched. And so I'm not mad at you because that's far more entertaining to me than some rando Scooby-Doo movie that just rinse and repeat. This was another level of terrible.
Well, the last time we had you here was for the sequel to the live-action Scooby-Doo series with Haley Kiyoko and Robbie Amell, which was Curse of the Lake Monster, which was garbage. Yes. And somehow this might have been worse.
No, this was definitely worse. No doubt, this was worse.
And I think my goal now is to just get Lindsay on the most cracked Scooby-Doo episodes.
Which I think is fine. I think that works.
Lindsay, tell the people how you've been. I think it's been since March of 2023 that we last had you on the podcast.
No, because we did the lake wasn't 2023, was it?
I feel like it was. Let me double check. I'll go back to the podcast data while you tell everyone how you've been since whenever the last time you did a podcast here was.
Yeah. Since I was on, I've tripled the amount of cats that I own.
So yes, Christina has siblings.
It took us a couple days. I truly thought she was going to murder them, but she has come around. They are at this time 5-week-old kittens. They are so cute. Their names are Timothy and Allie Jr., named after my sister. So the four of us are just vibing and thriving, and I love it. I moved, so I'm in. Oh, okay, Scooby's. If you're watching the video, Scooby is falling. So
yes, this is a video podcast, everyone. Feel free to go check us out and subscribe on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're gonna move him now. Yes, I'm in a bigger spot.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it's great.
You have a Broncos monitor behind you.
I do. So we're doing great.
Yes, and according to the data, the last time a podcast that you were on dropped was March 28th, 2023.
Oh my gosh.
Because I also took a break from Scooby. I went through a bad depressive episode this last spring, so I think I delayed anything that I was doing.
Gun to my head, if you had said, Lindsay, do you think you were on this podcast in 2024? I would have said, put it all on black. 1,000%.
Well, I feel like we've hung out more in person this year than we did last year. But we've done more podcasts last year, or I guess we're tied now. But I vividly remember watching the last movie we did in an Outback Steakhouse as I was eating my lunch because I think the reason I remember this is because I got a Star of the Month award at work, and the prize that they give out is $100 gift card for something, and mine happened to be Visa, so I could use it on whatever I wanted. In the past, I heard they gave it to Nike, and I was like, I don't need shoes. But a Visa gift card, I used it for Outback Steakhouse, and that's where I watched Curse of the Lake Monster. So I think that's why I had it ingrained in my memory. That was a great day. That was a good mental health day when I watched it, and then a good mental health day when we recorded the podcast. So Lindsay is just good vibes queen.
Well, what's funny is I vividly remember it. I was walking dogs on WAG, and I was literally it was an hour walk, so it was perfect. So I literally took my phone and I just watched it as we were walking for an hour.
I think I was more entertained by this movie, at least maybe because I went in expecting it to be unhinged.
Yeah.
But oh my God. So what was your concept of Scooby-Doo Adventures, the mystery map, before you watched it? Was it just when I sent you the photo and you were like, sure?
Yeah, no, you sent the photo and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm sure he's at some point running out of stuff to watch. Obviously the Scooby filmography is, God only knows how much stuff is out there. But I literally thought nothing of it. I guess I don't know why it didn't register to me. Because now looking back, like the photo, the characters are obviously or puppets or Muppets. So I don't know why it didn't register, but I think the exact text I sent you was something along the lines of, I have been watching this for 30 seconds and like, what WTF am I watching?
And I was like, oh my God, I love it. I had no concept of this either. I guess so. Some behind the scenes. I don't know if I've ever discussed this on the Scooby Snacks chats. Basically, when I made my master spreadsheet of like everything I want to talk about, I literally went to the Wikipedia page of Scooby-Doo movies and highlighted everything that was under the movie section, put it in a spreadsheet, and then I was like, sure, this is what I want to cover. And then because there's so much Scooby-Doo content, and I was like, I don't know if I can realistically get to everything I want, but let me just focus on the movies, the cinematic universe of the films. This was on there. My life was changed, I want to say, for the better when I watched this movie. So I was watching this last night, tee-hee-heeing, ha-ha-haing, because this was cracked beyond belief. I am so excited to talk about it. This looked like the bit from like Community when they were wearing puppets. I don't know if you're a Community girl.
No, but I can picture what you're saying. Like yeah.
This is not even like Sesame Street levels of puppetry or Muppets. This is like jank ass puppetry.
All I could think about is like Matthew Lillard getting the call, and just at this one, I don't think he asks, right? When they call him to do this stuff, I don't think he's asking them like, yeah, let me know what the plot is. Like, I think he just records and literally has no idea what it's going to look like. So all I could picture was him like recording the audio for this, not being told that there will be puppets involved, and then just like watching the final product, being like,
do you think he watched it? Do you think he just? I feel like he probably collects his check. And
I was gonna say like he just got his check and was like, "This is so easy."
Let's read the cast list because I did notice Velma sounded different. I felt like, and where is it? Oh yeah, so she wasn't played by Mindy Cohn. She was played by Stephanie D'Abruzzo. No, that was the puppeteer. Sorry, who played Velma? Wait, I can't find the voice cast for Velma. Who played Velma? Is she not listed? Wow, Wikipedia slacking. Wikipedia, my go-to source for everything. Shout out to the Scooby-Doo Wikipedias. But no, I did recognize that it was different it seemed different for Velma. But they didn't seem like their best versions of themselves. Naturally, they were made of puppets. But like even we'll get to it, but the Scooby-Doo like eating a Scooby snack and turning into a rocket or a bowling ball, I was like, what?
So I don't know how familiar you are with the TV show A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, but like immediately I realized that all of these characters was based on that version of the show. And so I think, and again we'll get into it, but like I think I think that's why it didn't work, is they wanted, like, they gave it the same element of being a cartoon, but it wasn't a cartoon. So perfect example was him turning into a rocket like that. Like that's very A Pup Named Scooby-Doo show behavior, but it just doesn't work when it's not a cartoon show.
Yeah. Okay. It was Stephanie D'Abruzzo who did both, which is interesting. And then all the other actors were like the modern actors of that time. Including Frank Welker for Scooby and Fred, Matthew Lillard for Shaggy, and Daphne was Grey Delisle, who just celebrated her, I want to say 52nd birthday.
Love that for her.
But I want to know what happened to Mindy Cohn, because why is she not Velma at that point? Because she comes back.
Took one look at this and was like, no.
She has standards.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And then okay, now there's a new Velma these days. Okay, that makes sense. But what do you think the like concept was? This they were just like, we need a Scooby-Doo movie. So just what I was able to gather from my research, this premiered not just on television. This premiered at San Diego Comic-Con in 2013. Like they had the big Scooby-Doo exhibit which is funny because the last movie I did was basically about a Comic-Con. Scooby-Doo and the gang go to Comic-Con was basically the plot of that one. But what do you think the people leaving the San Diego Comic-Con thought?
They probably were like, I should have gone to like the Pokemon, what are they called? Exhibit instead, like, or like literally anything else.
Yeah.
I don't know what was cool in 2013. I was gonna say the Marvel, and then I was like, wait, I don't know if that was.
I feel like that was probably popping off at the time, but
Okay.
I just want to know, like, I would love to interview if anyone was there. Please.
Yeah, we need the exclusive.
We need the exclusive. And then this came out 2 days later on digital download as a Walmart exclusive DVD.
Oh, so you literally that makes sense because this was the Walmart version of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Where do you think the Mystery Inc. would shop at? Like like who goes to what store or like eats at what places?
I mean, Daphne is not going to Walmart.
Daphne's going to probably like Nordstrom at the very least.
Nordstrom's and Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Fred is going to
buys his clothes at Target.
Yeah, or like Lululemon.
That makes sense.
I could see Lululemon.
Velma's a Hot Topic girly.
Yeah. And then Shaggy is like, I don't know, he's going to like Costco for his clothes.
Costco or maybe like
5-pack.
Yeah.
Of green shirts.
Potentially Ross. I could also see Shaggy at. And then he like gets his food at like Ralph's or whatever the
99-cent store.
Oh, true.
Oh, I guess those are gone. So I don't know.
Dollar Tree. Yeah. Yeah, and then Velma I could see Velma probably going to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Like, and then
or
Fred
she's like growing her own food in like a scientific-y way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, some of my favorite stuff from this movie was like Velma just typing into the computer, like analyze and like just like.
Well, can we just talk about? I was very confused by what their ages were because like they were all hanging out really late at night and they were falling asleep and they seemed to live there because in the final scene, Scooby and Shaggy are taking a bath and everyone else is like, we got to get in there. We got to get in there. So I was like,
but it's also a treehouse.
I was so confused.
I guess they're living in a treehouse, I guess, and they're all sharing it. Like, I don't know, because in the other stuff, do they live in the van? I don't think they live in the van.
No, they don't live in the van. No.
Yeah. Because
in the live action movie, the good one, the best I know one. Shaggy and Scooby-Doo at one point live in the van.
Yeah, they live in the van and they're hotboxing at the start of the film. And then that honestly, like, cinema. Lindsay, we should go to Australia just to do a Scooby-Doo like live action tour.
Wait. That's the thing you can do there?
I don't know, but it's on the Gold Coast and they have Movie World there. But like, let's go. Oh, you were just there. Yes. Oh, that is something that you haven't updated the listeners about. How was your trip to Bali in Australia?
It was amazing. I saw Donaldson Street in Australia and I was like, bow to the legend.
Yes. Did you go to the Great Barrier Reef and
I did go to the Great Barrier Reef. And I was in like a blue bathing suit. So I felt very Jerry Manthe. Bali was incredible. You get to live like a millionaire if you're from the United States because your money goes so far. I mean, I did everything I could have done in Bali. It was so fun. Got a little lonely being gone by myself for a month. I'm not going to lie. But, and the people of Bali are really good photographers. So I came away with some great photos.
Yeah, some new photos and memories. I'm so jealous. Like I was living vicariously. Like, what the fuck? I don't want to go.
So fun. Everyone should do it.
Bali, much better than this movie.
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess I just don't. I guess my question is just why? Like, who thought this was like? I'm trying to go back because obviously this came out 11 years ago, and I'm just trying to think what was going on at that time. Like, I don't think Muppets were really big in 2013, so I just don't understand why they felt the need to go in this direction. I don't understand because this is unlike any other Scooby-Doo piece of cinema.
And this is the only one in the puppet universe.
And it's the only one where there's been like, they solve the mystery and then it's like a two-parter.
Yeah.
I was so confused when Velma was like, oh, I figured out who it is. And I was like, wow, this movie flew by. And I look and only 28 minutes had passed by and I was really confused by that.
And then there was a two-parter, which A, I do think I appreciated, but B, I was very confused because I was like, oh, there's a second part. And so it felt like one of those, like growing up, like those SpongeBob, those Nickelodeon cartoons where it was like a one act and then a second act.
Right.
But this was all continuous.
Right. Usually it's like Tommy and Chucky play pretend doctors, and then in the second one, it's like, and now it's Angelica's first day of school. Like, they're usually nothing to do with one another. This was so weird. And I will say, I didn't like. I mean, I was watching the movie, but when they unmasked the first bad person, I was like, who? I literally
I forgot about him.
No idea who that was, because I thought, because in A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, I don't know how familiar you are with it, there is a kid who's a bully. His name is, I think, like Red or something, and Fred always assumes he's the bad guy. Like, it's like a joke, a running joke of the show. They always think it's him, and he shows up.
He kind of looks like him.
I thought that's who it was. That's yeah. That's who I thought it was.
That's funny that his name is Red Herring.
Yeah.
No, and then like also, I don't think we really saw Shirley in the second part. So the fact that it was her, I was like, oh, I'm convinced it's the hot dog guy, because like that's the only one we saw, and there was the mustard packs. But yeah, it was interesting. I think I appreciated some of the swings. Like, I think I liked the fact that it was a 2-part and it was all continuous, but also it was like so unhinged that I was like, what the heck am I watching? Plus, like, some of the puppets were legitimately some of the most terrifying things I've ever seen in a Scooby-Doo thing. Like that gnarly beard when he like jumps behind them and does jump scare. I was like, this is legitimately terrifying. And I am a 27-year-old adult.
Yeah, and I also just didn't understand the direction of the characters. Like, Fred had no redeeming qualities in this. Not one.
Fred and Velma both.
Velma at least was like
solving the mystery.
She had that going for her, but like she wasn't an enjoyable character. You're right. But Fred just like was a douche the entire time.
They were so mean to Shaggy and Velma. And then also like Shaggy was kind of like a little bit like he made the whole joke about like ma'am or like I was like that was like very 2013.
So what was weird though is it wasn't I wouldn't call it transphobic because they weren't making it was just like
it was just off-putting.
Funny. That's what I mean. It was just
and then they also did the reverse later when it was like a man and they were like saying like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. But I just was like, this is just funny.
No, and again, like it's not even like when you look back and you go, oh, people thought transphobia was funny. So and they're making it that's where the joke is coming in. I'm like, I don't even think this is that. This is just like has nothing to do with anything where you could even say like I see what they were trying to do here doesn't like stand the test of time, but I get it. Like this wasn't even I don't even think that would have been funny in 2013.
No, like there weren't any like real big laughs in this. Like there was nothing. I mean, Scooby-Doo I think maybe had a couple of that like chuckles, but otherwise it was just kind of like laughing out of like uncomfortability and confusion. I still had a great time. Like I was so excited when I saw the poster. That's like this looks cracked. And when I got you to like sign up, I was like, okay, cool. This is gonna be at least worth the podcast, even if the movie's trash.
Yeah. This is podcast gold.
This is also not the worst Scooby-Doo thing I've seen for this project, and it's not close.
Really?
Yeah. Let me go look at my spreadsheet.
Was it the Ghoul Brothers?
I was so bored by the Boo Brothers.
Boo Brothers.
But that was boring, not like bad. It was just kind of boring because I remembered it being so good as a kid. I also think, like, let me look at my thing here. Oh no, that's the wrong one. I think this is definitely better than Arabian Nights. This is better than the Boo
Arabian
Brothers.
Nights. That was the one you hated.
That one was just problematic on all accounts.
Yeah.
That also was like half a not Yogi Bear, Magilla Gorilla movie. That was half of that. And it was also like the other half was Aladdin. It was literally Scooby and Shaggy were in it for like 20 minutes tops. Scooby Goes Hollywood was interesting, but it wasn't anything like I feel like because it's so unhinged, I'm gonna give it a higher score than it actually deserves. I think I give it like a 2.5 on Letterboxd just because it was watchable, but I definitely was like confused and like kind of entertained for the wrong reasons. Like this is something you like kind of watch with your friends when you're stoned at night. This is not something that you like go and seek out at the movie theater.
No. There's I don't know. I just don't understand who this was for. It didn't have funny adult humor. I don't see a kid finding that enjoyable.
The only thing I could think of is maybe like really, really little kids who like colors and puppets and
Sesame Street. Like
yeah, but this wasn't even like for them either. Like there was no fun and aloofness.
No, it wasn't fun. It was not fun.
I love that you still think this is better than the trash movie we watched last year.
I think this because at least that had a plot I could follow. Whether or not it was good, I truly did not understand what the plot of this movie was.
You're making very valid points.
Right. Like if you were to ask me, please like describe Lake Monster, I could give you a plot. I could specify details from the movie. I literally don't understand what the plot of this movie was. They like find a treasure map, then they're curious, then Scooby eats the treasure map, and then they go, let's go back and try again. Like I don't know what the plot was and what the purpose was.
Like, this does feel like I think the map. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like in other movies, the plot is there's a bad guy, or there's someone being bad. You want to solve the mystery, save the day, get rid of the bad person. This, like, they didn't even know there were bad people until
they went on a treasure hunt, and then there was like mysteries to solve along the way. It felt very much like obviously like this is a easy comparison to make because of the map itself, but like Dora, it felt very like, okay, there's this checkpoint, we're done. And it felt like there were two of those throughout the 45 minutes where they did that twice, 2 cycles. It felt like checkpoint, solve a mystery. Checkpoint, solve the mystery. But it wasn't that they were like seeking a mystery out. It's not like they showed up to this thing. It was just like this map happened to be in their pizza, and then they go on an adventure, and there happens to be a mystery at the end. And then they like don't solve it completely because there's a second one on the loose. I will say they set everything up because they did have Gnarly Beard in the first like 5 minutes, and then he didn't reappear until the second act.
No, and fun fact, do you want to know who voiced Gnarly Beard? I didn't even give you a chance to answer. I just got so excited.
Is it Jeff Bennett? Because I saw that name.
No, I actually don't know his name, but it's the guy who plays the evil grandpa or evil uncle in Princess Diaries 2.
Oh.
So random.
Aquaman. Oh, he's solid in Indiana Jones, John Rhys Davies.
I didn't know. I saw his face and I went, that's the guy from Princess Diaries who's trying to steal the crown from Princess Mia.
I'm trying to look at his IMDb, seeing if there's anything else. Scooby-Doo Adventures, The Mystery Map, Pirate Gnarly Beard.
Which I'm like, and then so I saw before the movie that he was the voice of it. So I expected this character to have a much bigger role. He literally just went like that's all he did. He didn't even talk.
Yeah, he didn't really do anything. He was just kind of there. I'm trying to see what else he's in. He's in an episode of Psych. Yeah, no, he's probably best known for Indiana Jones and the Princess Diaries too, and some of the Lord of the Rings maybe. But I didn't watch that. Oh, he's also in Aquaman. Oh, he's in SpongeBob? Who's he in SpongeBob? I need to see who's in SpongeBob. Let me look this up. SpongeBob. Man Ray. Okay. I hear it. You weren't a big SpongeBob girly, were you?
No, I mean I watched it as a kid, but like I don't.
Yeah.
My trivia of SpongeBob wouldn't be very good. Like I remember some episodes, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Like I don't know who that is.
He's one of the villains. He's the blue head with the red corpse, that like the manta ray villain that's friends with the Dirty Bubble and is an antagonist.
If I saw him, maybe I'd recognize
Barnacle Boy and Mermaid Man. But do we want to like talk about the plot of this movie? Because like we've like talked about.
Yeah, no, I want you to attempt to tell me what the plot of this movie was.
Scooby-Doo Adventures, The Mystery Map from 2013. Yes, and like you said, they are based off the pup named Scooby-Doo. So basically, also the Mystery Machine was not present, but the tree house was the colors of the Mystery Machine. So
wait. So how did they get down to the lighthouse?
They walked? I don't know. They were like bouncing. They were like,
oh, they were dancing. That's yeah.
Oh, yeah. When they did the little dancing, I was like, oh my God. And then the musical interstitials were so wild also.
Well, that's the same thing they do in a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Basically, they're vibing in the treehouse. Fred is talking to himself in the mirror. Velma's on her computer. Daphne also like rearranges her shoes. And Scooby and Shaggy. Yeah. Scooby and Shaggy order a pizza that's like peanut butter, pickles, and something else. What's your go-to pizza? You're a
Cheese.
vegetarian, right?
Yeah, cheese.
Yeah.
That's the only pizza I'll eat.
Yeah. There is a good vegetarian pizza that I had back in my hometown at the traditional house of pizza. They had like fried eggplant, tomatoes, feta cheese, and spinach. And I was like, oh, I kind of crave that one. That's a good vegetarian pizza. But cheese, you can't go wrong with cheese pizza.
Nope.
But they order a pizza that looks unhinged, just like this movie. And Stokowski delivers it, and Scooby and Shaggy start chowing down, and then Scooby bites into a map. They pull it out, and it's like, this is a rolled up map, and Velma's like, this is said to lead to the treasure of Gnarlybeard the pirate. So they go bop along over to some of the different locations, and they get attacked by the Phantom Parrot first. What did you think of the Phantom Parrot? We haven't discussed him at all. We've only discussed Gnarlybeard.
I was confused because I thought the parrot was with Gnarlybeard.
That's what I thought too. And also, the parrot is giant.
Yeah, so I thought they were like a team. So I didn't realize that we were trying to solve who the parrot was.
Yeah, it was very weird. And also, like, I feel like it wasn't very coordinated between Stu and Shirley, and we'll get there. But they go bopping along. They meet. Who do they meet? They meet Dr. Escobar and Shirley, and Fred is obsessed with Shirley. He's like, oh, I smell her perfume. And then later we find out that her perfume was like nasty.
Yeah.
Because Fred recognized the smell. Fred was useless in this movie.
Useless.
Like, all he did was pull the rope a couple times.
Useless.
Yeah. So then they get to know them, and then they're like, okay, let's go towards the lighthouse. They get trapped in the cave, and then Velma's like, here's a Scooby snack, Scooby. And then he turns into a bowling ball. I did like that his little like dots that he has, his spots, like if you look at it, it could be like where you put the fingers in the bowling ball.
Yeah.
I was so confused. Like, what the hell? Scooby's a bowling ball now? Like, what is this universe? If you could turn into any sports ball, what kind of ball would you want to turn into?
I would want to turn into, I think, a football, because it'd be fun. You'd just be like flying through the sky.
That is fun. I feel
and
like
nobody's really trying to like hurt you. Like, right, with basketball, you're like bouncing up and down.
Volleyball, you're getting spiked.
Tennis racket. Like soccer ball, you're getting kicked.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I'm trying to think, is there any other contenders? I mean, a golf ball, besides like the quick pain. But yeah. But I feel like a football is the safest. Bowling ball is not that bad. It's kind of like a ride, but then you have to hit the pins. But yeah, he knocks over the cave. And then they end up trapping the Phantom Parrot. Who did you think it was?
I honestly had no idea. I was so like, my mind went to, well, like I said, I forgot about the pizza guy. So he wasn't even on my radar. So I just assumed it was the archaeologist lady.
Yeah.
Because she's the only character that I felt we had met, right? Or her, and the lighthouse guy. Those were
Oh yeah, we did meet the lighthouse guy who ended up being her husband. I did think that was cute.
Right. That was a nice twist. But I was like, I guess it's her, but that's kind of obvious. But we literally only met these three people. Like, yeah. I think I was just so not into it. I wasn't even thinking about it. And I think I wasn't prepared for them to reveal, because again, we were halfway through the movie. So I didn't think that was going to happen.
It was weird. I think I thought it was Shirley at that point, but then she wasn't even on my radar for the second one because they didn't reappear, it felt like. But it ends up being Stu, and I was like, oh, I forgot he existed.
Yeah.
Like,
I literally was like, who?
Yeah. And then he says that he's a distant relative of his, and the treasure is not discovered in the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was like, oh, okay.
Did you even like the whole thing has me confused. Like, why was he not in the lighthouse? First of all, why was he in this dingy ass cave?
Yeah, again, I guess I didn't understand his motive because it wasn't like there were a ton of people searching for this treasure. So I didn't understand what Stu's motive was. It wasn't like there were a ton of people chasing after the treasure. I don't understand, like, the energy he spent trying to scare them away. He should have just spent trying to find the treasure.
I'm with you there. Like, huh? Like, why are you bothering with Scooby-Doo and the friends? Just go to the lighthouse immediately. Because we see in the next one, like, the treasure's not even there, it's at the lighthouse.
Yeah, and it's kind of dark because Shaggy says, he's like, oh, if not for you and your meddling kids, and Shaggy's like, wait, you're a kid. And then the next scene we see is the TV announcer saying that Stu has gone to jail. I'm like,
yeah,
depressing.
And it was very much like SpongeBob and the fish, not to make another SpongeBob reference.
Yes,
like
yes.
The fish news. And then he like jumps out of the TV and I was like, whoa, terrifying.
Like, I never celebrate children going to jail.
Yeah. Also doesn't make sense why they went back to the treehouse. Why not just continue with the mystery?
Right. This
I mean, they had to figure out that the map piece was missing, I guess, but
yeah, I think it would have flowed better if they had been like,
if there wasn't like the musical break.
Right, but they even could have done the musical break if it was that important to them. Oh, sorry.
Is that Christina?
No, it's Timothy.
Timothy.
Sorry.
You're good.
Timothy, get down. You're ruining his podcast. No, down.
Well, so the musical interest issue, I did recognize all of them because I've podcasted about all of them. Here Comes Summer from Scooby-Doo Camp Scare, which if you want to listen to the archives, that's with the great Nicole.
Oh, I didn't realize it was from other... Like,
yeah, they were recent Scooby-Doo. So then Dig It was Scooby-Doo Legend of the Phantasaur, which I did with... Who did I do that one with? That was with Alec Hester. And then Scooby-Doo Abracadabra Doo with Lisa Holmes from Survivor New Zealand. Those were all... Like, I recognize all three of the songs.
You are the only person who watched that and recognized it. Ever. There's not a single other person who recognized any of that.
Well, the person who made the Wikipedia, I guess, did.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, but otherwise, we are the two individuals. But yeah, it was weird. Like, I didn't understand. It's so strange. So strange why they had to go back to the treehouse.
Yeah, so they go back. Then they all of a sudden go, all right, we want to actually find this sucker. They go, wait a minute. There's a bite in this map. Scooby, you ate it. Whoopsies. And then they x-ray his stomach. They figure out where it is, and off they go. Back.
They got the guy who is the puppeteer for Big Bird and Count Von Count and Kermit the Frog as the person who did Fred. Like, they got some legit puppeteers, it looks like.
This was definitely somebody's, like, passion project. For sure.
They got the person who did Miss Piggy for Shaggy. Like, so many, like, I mean, they got great talent involved, but it's so, this definitely is someone's passion project. I'm going to look up Joe McNaught. Like, I want to know what else. This is the only thing he's known for on IMDb. This is literally the only thing on his IMDb page. So yeah, this feels like a student film. For puppets, and then like Warner Brothers was like, let me buy the rights to it. But yeah, so they end up back in the treehouse. They discover the piece is missing, and then Velma's like, let me analyze. And I was like, girl, just like a piece of the map is missing. It's not that hard. But then they find it. It's Scooby's digestive system, and they like put the X-ray machine over his tummy. And they see that I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. Stupid, but funny. And then they go looking at the lighthouse. They discover that Gnarly Beard was surely in disguise. After they start digging for the X marks the spot, Scooby and Shaggy go flying to the pirate ship boat. And then they're stuck on the boat. And then Daphne's like, let me fly this plane that my dad owns. And I have a flying license, but I don't know how anything works. I just know how to go up and down.
Yeah, I guess that was what Fred's one redeeming moment was when he suggested they like turn it off and just glide or something.
Yeah, but
Because that was the only good moment.
Daphne didn't know what that meant. See, like Daphne is a contender for my MVP in this movie, but it's just because the lack of everyone else.
Right.
Like it's not like Daphne was a standout, unlike the version played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, where she like was a badass and did all the karate. I need to rewatch that movie. That movie's so good.
So good. So well casted.
But it was freaking wild that like then she like gets a plane and she's basically like, yeah, my dad's rich, which we know this about Daphne, but it's like insane. And then they end up crashing into the thing. There's also the hot dog vendor, which then when they had the mustard packs, I was like, oh, so it has to be the hot dog vendor. I thought it might be. They like had the teaser that it was Dr. Escobar because DE the initials on the binoculars or whatever. I was like, no, it can't be her. It's the hot dog vendor.
I thought it was the hot dog vendor. I think though they did a much better job with like making me invested in who the second bad guy was and like actually dropping hints and keeping me engaged. There was like I like I said was not engaged with who the first person was at all. I didn't care. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't even know it was coming. This time I was like, yeah, I can remember little clues like you just said that made me wonder and make guesses, whereas I did not do that at all in the first one. But what's also interesting is this movie was 45 minutes and the first bad guy was revealed like
20 minutes, so you weren't expecting
No,
that.
it was less. It was more. It was at like because Velma said, I know who it is. Then they tried to catch him. So I'd say probably like between 30 to 32 minutes. So this is like a much shorter time.
Yeah. Yeah. I also wasn't expecting like the mystery reveal that early because like again I was like what the heck, it's not even, it's we still have like at least 10-15 minutes left of this thing. It's wild. That's probably like the best thing for it. This was like so short comparatively that it was like, oh, this is watchable. Versus if this was like 2 hours, this would be like a struggle bus. But yeah, we find out it's Shirley and Fred was like, yeah, I recognize the perfume. I was like, huh? So she smells bad because the whole time Gnarly Beard is Gnarly Beard because it smells gnarly.
I didn't even think about that. Wow, the writers did not put much thought into this.
Fred be nasty.
Maybe that's what he's into.
Maybe Fred is like Joseph from Big Brother.
Gosh, yes.
That's a time-stamped reference right there. He might not even be present in the lives of the Big Brother audience when this comes out. Like Tucker's in the house right now. Angela's in the house, just for people context. This is August 27th. You don't watch Big Brother, you just follow along via podcast, right?
I watched some of the episodes, but I'm on Twitter all day reading updates.
Who's your favorite on the season? Is it Tucker?
No, I think Tucker's the annoying drunk guy that thinks he's super charming at a bar and you're just like, go away. I think he is so obnoxious. I think he is so not funny. I don't like him at all. I like Joseph and Quinn.
You're ready for their deep dives.
Yeah. Oh, I'm ready.
I feel like Quinn is overhated. I feel like Quinn's actually very likable, and I feel like people hate him for.
It's incredible that Quinn was able to have his HOH go as poorly as it did, and he's in an incredible position. Like, that is some insane recovery.
Honestly, yeah, the fact that he's like, I mean, I kind of forgot Quinn was in the house this week because he's like that lay low. Because like, I don't know, yeah, I'm a Quinn fan. Come at me, haters. So the Gnarly Beard's treasure was beard and hair care products, which we find out, which I think is stupid, but it's funny at the same time. And then Scooby and Shaggy take advantage by having a bubble bath, and Fred and Daphne and Velma are doing like the very sibling-us thing of like, hello, we gotta go to school. Like, so where are you going?
Where are you going? Where are your parents? Like, do not open this door. It's not appropriate for Daphne and Velma to see Shaggy's pee-pee.
I don't know why that just set me, but it did. Oh my god. Yeah, where are the parents? Like, do we ever get a sense of anyone's parents outside of like that horrible Velma show?
I never watched that. I've refused to watch that show.
Oh yeah, you're notably a Mindy Kaling detractor.
Yeah. I like Mindy Kaling. I just won't watch that.
No, but you would it was you who said like you would pay a lot of money to find out who the baby daddy is, right?
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, I love The Office, so I love
Yeah.
for that. But I refuse to watch some show that's just like, I don't know. It's nothing of what I liked about Scooby-Doo.
I didn't hear anything about season 2, whereas the first season I heard was so bad. So I feel like that has to mean season 2 is better, but I haven't watched it.
Right. But it kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning. Like, you either want to be the worst at something or the best at something. If you're in that boring.
I did watch all 10 episodes of the original first season.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. I might have sped it up, I think. But yeah, that's Scooby-Doo Adventures, the mystery app. Should they do more Scooby-Doo Adventures?
No. Not this.
Now, you're familiar they have some Lego Scooby-Doo movies, right?
No.
I feel like those probably have to be better because that's probably geared to children, right? But
couldn't be worse.
Can't be worse. Is this the worst Scooby-Doo thing you've ever encountered?
Yes. So I do remember as a kid renting Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood, and I thought it was the most boring thing I've ever watched. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember the end scene when they're like, "Come on, Scooby-Doo, come back," and he decides to leave Hollywood or something. Yeah. So based on memory, maybe that, just because I don't even think I watched the whole thing, but I need to rewatch it because I don't remember it.
I watched it a few years ago for the podcast. It was the first thing we covered. I just remember it being boring. I don't remember it being like bad.
Yeah, I remember it being really boring, and I was not interested in it as a kid at all.
Same with like the Boo Brothers, but the Boo Brothers I loved as a kid. Like that was what was so disappointing about it on the podcast. It was like, oh my god, this kind of like the podcast experience kind of tainted my memory of the Boo Brothers because I thought it was so boring. But yeah, I'm trying to see what's the worst rating I've given because this. Oh, the Scooby-Doo Project.
Arabian Nights, wasn't it?
No, that was the worst rated overall, but that's because Kate gave it. Like, obviously, it was problematic, but I gave it a 1.25 because it was watchable. It wasn't really a Scooby-Doo movie, though. It was like Scooby and Shaggy were in 15 minutes. Then like half of the rest of it was Aladdin, and then the other half of it was Magilla Gorilla going on an adventure. Yeah, maybe we should do a rewatch of Arabian Nights. That could be like,
I'll watch it. I'll do that.
Get Lindsay to like come back with her takes.
Yeah.
Anyways, do we want to get into the segments since we like don't really have anything else? Did you think it was Shirley? You thought it was the hot dog person, and then Shirley was basically Stu's sister. Yeah, that's it. Like
wait, we should talk about that. The treasure wasn't even really treasure; it was hair care products.
Yeah. Also, we didn't talk about Dr. Escobar and Lewis. Was that his name?
Oh, yeah,
the lighthouse man. I thought, oh my god, that's cute.
Relationship goals.
They seem so madly in love. I was like, oh my god.
It's very Monica and Brad Culpepper.
Yes. Did you see them recently? They like got interviewed by the Survivor Instagram page.
Yeah, that's why it was on my mind.
Yeah. They like seem so adorable. I'm rooting for them. I wonder if they ever come back. Let me look. Lighthouse Lou. Scooby-Doo Wiki. Let's see if he ever comes back. Scooby-Doo and the Lighthouse Mystery. No, I want Lighthouse Lou. Scooby-Doo Adventures. Jeff Bennett. Why do I know that name?
Isn't he the puppet guy?
Jeff.
Wasn't he on like America's Got Talent?
Maybe. He's also a voice actor. That's why. Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Who am I thinking of? The puppet guy.
No, I know who you're talking about. The guy who went on. Oh, he's Zazu. That's where I know him. He's Zazu in the singing voice in the Platinum edition of The Lion King. He plays Petrie in The Land Before Time 2, 3, multiple others. Yeah, he's a famous voice actor, basically. He's in an extremely goofy movie. Great. Some of my favorite stuff about the Scooby-Doo stuff is like looking through. He's Petrie in a lot of these Land Before Time stuff. Oh, he's been in past Scooby-Doos. He's in The Legend of the Vampire. He's in some other Scooby-Doo stuff. This is he's in a lot of stuff.
What's up?
Open season 3.
Didn't even know there was.
Oh, he was just in the one that I watched. That's why. Okay, he's in a lot of these Scooby-Doo stuff.
I didn't know there was an open season 3.
I think there's an open season 4. Open Season was a great video game also for the GameCube. I loved that video game as a kid. Shout out to Lighthouse Lou.
I think you're right. I think there are 4 of them. Wow, wild.
I wonder if open season's unhinged, like in hindsight.
Next podcast. We can
Next podcast. Honestly, sign me up. I'm there. Well, once I'm done with Scooby-Doo, I'm gonna need another like big project. So, anyways, let's get to the like culprit game. Who did you think the first one you weren't really paying attention, or you didn't think there was a mystery, right? So, did you think it was anyone for that?
I mean, I guess if I had to make a guess, it would have been the woman, Escobar.
Escobar.
I had to have said, who did you maybe have an inkling about? I guess her.
Yeah, so I thought it was Shirley, so that's why I don't get a point, because I didn't think it was Shirley for the second one. But then who did you think it was? In the Hot Dog Man, right?
Yeah, that was Hot Dog Man.
So I also thought it was Hot Dog Man. It ended up being Stu and Shirley, so I am giving myself 0 points, as I'm giving the guest total 0 points, because I got Shirley wrong for the wrong one. So the culprit game, we're done with that. MVPs and LVPs. This is going to be much more interesting. Lindsay, where do you want to start as the guest?
I'll go LVP. I'm going to give it to Fred because he was literally useless and just annoying and had not one redeeming quality.
All right. Lindsay gives it to Fred. Do you have any bonus MVPs or LVPs for the like vestigial characters? Brad and Monica.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it to Escobar. I forgot her first name.
Yeah. And I think it was literally Doctor. I think her name was Dr. Escobar.
The fact that she wanted to find her teddy bear, I thought that was cute.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that. That was cute. Yeah, let's give her that. Thank you for doing that, because and it was like their love teddy bear, like from their first date or whatever. It was like so cute. I was between Fred and Velma just because Velma was annoying me in this one, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna give it to Velma. And then do you want to go with your MVP, or do you want me to go first?
You go first. I need to think about it.
Okay, I'm between Daphne and Scooby for this one, because Scooby made me laugh the most, and then Daphne was like kind of useful with the plane. So I think I'm gonna give it to Daphne.
For some reason, I thought I wasn't allowed to give it to Scooby. I'm gonna give it to Scooby.
Oh, you can of course give it to Scooby. You can't give it to Scrappy because he's not in this one. That's the only rule. But no, Scooby. Yeah, so I'm glad you gave it to Scooby because I was between those two. So with that, Scooby continues his climb above Velma, especially with Velma's poor performance in these last few movies. Scooby now has 25 total. Lindsay, let me see who you've given your past ones. Okay, Velma and Shaggy, and then Velma and Daphne, Scooby and Fred, and then Scooby and Fred. Okay, so this is the same as last time you were here. And then we get all these Scooby. Scooby's leading, and then Fred is with 30. He's the LVP leader. With Velma climbing, I feel like she was not as bad, but now she's like jumped over Daphne in the last couple weeks. So she's got to step it up. And then do you want to give your rating first, or shall I? For the movie.
What's the lowest you can give?
0.25.
I think this was a 0.25.
That's hilarious, because I'm about to give it so much higher than that. Officially on Letterboxd, I gave it a 2.5 because I like enjoyed my watch because it was so unhinged. I think just like the excitement of recording this podcast and like how cracked this was and how much fun I had in anticipation of the podcast, I think I'm gonna give it a straight 4.
Whoa. Okay, I say like it was so bad. I was so excited to podcast about it. Like I said, if you had given me some middle tier movie where there wouldn't have been that much to make fun of, it wouldn't have been fun.
For me, I think the puppets was exciting because it was different. Yeah. I think the fact that it was 45 minutes, my mind didn't really wander all that much. It did at points, but like I was like, oh, I'm watching this. Like I think there was a lot of. I also think maybe it's just puppetry as a whole, but I feel like animation and live action movies sometimes can kind of get static if you're watching and you just kind of glaze over. Whereas the puppets, just the fact that they're like bouncing, I think kept my eyes moving and kept my mind focused more. Also, I don't know. I had fun.
I had, like I said, I thought it was garbage and I couldn't believe what I was watching, but it made me excited to podcast.
Yeah. So. And I think I also kind of want to give it like opposite ends of the spectrum for this movie. Just like for this, when I go back, I look at the spreadsheet in like 10 years after I've long finished this Scooby-Doo project and be like, oh my God, this is so stupid.
I just think if you can't even describe what the plot was, I don't know how you can give it a good grade.
Valid. I don't know. It was so unhinged and I had a great time. watching it, even though I probably shouldn't have. But did you have any other notes that we didn't discuss?
No, I think we hit on all of it. The teddy bear.
Yeah, the teddy bear. So besides Scooby-Doo, do you have any other like sentimental teddy bears or stuffed animals?
I have a dog that I sleep with every night that I got in 2nd grade, and it's funny because the girl who gave it to me, like, we're not like, I don't care about her. We're not friends.
Are you indifferent or was she rude?
No, she was fine. She's fine. It's just like, I don't know. We were friends in elementary
school. Apart, yeah.
Older, and we weren't. Like, she could be dead for all I know. I don't know. But I don't know. I got it in 2nd grade, and it's just always been with me, and I love it. And it sleeps on my bed with me, and yeah.
No, low key, like when I went home in June, there was a night that I was like, let me sleep with Bear. Bear was like, I got him when I was 4, I think. And like his name was Keith officially, or Marshall or something stupid. No disrespect to anyone named those names. But then I was like, no, his name is Bear. Like, so
yeah, this is dog.
Dog, yeah. Kids inspired with creativity.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my god. And then and my brother has a monkey whose name is Monkey.
Yep.
And I remember when my brother was 5, he like lent Monkey to a friend in kindergarten, and then my mom at like 9:30 at night had to go to that kid's house and get Monkey, and like the parents were like on a romantic date, and like the older sister was babysitting, and she was like, I don't know where to find this Monkey because he wasn't sleeping with the monkey or whatever. And then we got him back. Monkey's at home, but my brother was not happy that night, and I was like, don't share your toys.
No.
Everyone has to learn that the hard way. Anything you want to plug?
No, you can follow me at Lindsay Bebo. It looks like Lindsay Bebout on Instagram and Twitter. I post really unhinged stories and tweet a lot about pop culture and the Denver Broncos.
Yes. Do you listen to Las Culturistas?
I've listened to an episode or two when there's been a guest I care about.
Have you listened to the Taylor Tomlinson one? Of course. I mean, that's your girl,
I did listen to hers. It was a while ago, though.
Stew is a soup with something to say. Is something. I do have you on the books ready to go for Daphne and Velma. Are you aware of that?
I am now. I haven't seen it.
I haven't either, but it's a live action. It looks here. I'm going to send you the DVD, and we're going to get your live thoughts on the photograph so the people can hear your thoughts.
Oh no. Oh god. It looks like a porno.
It looks bad.
Like anime porn, kind of.
I'm so excited for that. Whatever we do that, but that's what. And then you have an open invite.
Oh yeah, anytime. I never say no to you. You texted me yesterday. When are you free? I'm like, how's tomorrow?
Well, originally my friend Athena and I were going to podcast about a different Halloween type thing tonight, but send vibes to Indy, everyone. If you're listening to Indy, her dog hurt himself and now has to have surgery. So send vibes to Indiana. But yeah, also, if you want a podcast about anything non-Scooby-Doo, you have an open invite. I would love actually to talk about Media Made Lindsay. So I have this series called Media Made Me, and it talks about like the media. We discuss like the media that shaped your life.
Yeah. I've listened to that.
I would definitely want to do one with you for that because I'm like, Colby Donaldson could be a whole 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the show Top Shot?
Oh yeah.
I
watched the first couple seasons. I think it was on for 5 seasons. I don't think I watched all of them, but yeah.
Did you watch his movie? Was it Red Notice or not?
Red Eye. He's only in I think he's only in this one or maybe a couple seasons. I've seen.
Of course, he was in Curb. And we know the behind the scenes of that was supposed to be Ethan who was in that episode of Curb, but Ethan couldn't act.
Yep. And he was also, I think he was on an episode of Reba. Maybe he was on an episode of 8 Simple Rules. I know that. You know
how to get Lindsay back watching Survivor? Cast Colby Donaldson in Survivor 50.
Oh, he wants on. He posted a video yesterday, and the hashtags was S50, so he's ready.
I feel like his key is turned. Let's see if Jeff's is.
I know.
Honestly, Colby and Jerry for season 50, I'm here for it.
It'd be so fun.
That would be so fun. But also, like, if their arc, actually, if they don't go on 50, I want them on the Traitors together. I need them together.
So fun.
Yeah. Like they're on my list for Traitors. I want Courtney Yates on Traitors if she would do it. I think Abby Maria would be really fun on Traders. So I feel like there's like a good Survivor bench that they. I was surprised they jumped to Carolyn already because I was like, there's such a big lore already.
I know.
Anyway, so follow Lindsay on all social media. You can follow me at What the Fleep on my main. Follow the Brazilian Dragon Instagram at the Brazilian Dragon. We recently started a Patreon, so if you're able or interested in subscribing and helping out with behind the scenes production costs, because I am but a one-man machine and the economy not great. So if you are interested in helping out, that would be phenomenal. Hashtag or patreon.com/Brazilian Dragon Productions. At the very least, if you want to help the podcast grow, like and subscribe on YouTube. Go rate it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. I do know Lindsay has rated it on Apple Podcasts because I've seen your rating. One of the real ones out there. Go be like Lindsay and give it a rating on Apple Podcasts. It's the least I ask for you all, especially as we kick off Brazilian Dragontober. Stay tuned for everything we have planned this month. I'm very excited for all the shenanigans we have for the month of October. My concept was the old school Disney Channel Monstobers. But yeah, with all that said, Lindsay, do you have a hashtag for the people who got to the end of this?
Hashtag. I'm trying to think of something.
WTF am I watching?
Yeah. No, but I think that could a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, my other idea was like Velma Daphne anime. No.
I don't know, like hashtag gnarly beard. Hashtag
gnarly beard. Yeah.
Bear.
Gnarly bear. Ooh, I like that. Gnarly bear. That's a great hashtag. And with all that said, let's hop into the mystery machine and get ready for our next stop on the Scooby-Doo adventures, which will be, to all you listening, Scooby-Doo Stage Fright. With that said, obrigado for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.